Welcome back to the Tidy Room Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today I want to talk to you about my own masterpiece collection display. And I didn't really want to make this video. I had people asking about it, and I think it'd be helpful. You can see my do's and my don'ts. I have a lot of don'ts, and I will be fixing stuff before I do a full collection display, as in every toy, all 85, 90 toy lines or whatever that I have that I collect. But with this, today we're going to get into the masterpiece ones. And I know when I did my 20,000 subscriber special or any of my subscriber specials, you guys sent in way superior displays to what I have and the way I'm displaying mine. And so with that, go check out the 20K sub special if you want to see better displays than this. But I'm going to tell you my do's and don'ts and how I've set this up. And I pretty much have been working on this, and it's been developing since 2018. But let's get in looking at my display coming up. Okay, so I want to start out talking about this with my first of 4 main display shelves. And with that, this is my movie, and I guess you could say season 3, but I don't really adhere to that so much, but I sort of try to play in that area. As you see a season 4 figure in there. I do have an alt mode in there, so there's the alt mode for Blur, that's the Fans Toys one. I do like the Fans Toys one. So what my whole goal with this one was to have sort of some empty space in the center, or really small figures in the center, and then kind of work my way around the outside of the display with this. There's a Devastator in there, which is the best place for Devi, and my combiner shelf is really crowded. And as I build a couple other combiners, I'm going to completely redo my combiner shelf and display and rework all of that. But with this, I think that's still the best spot for Devi in my display. And then of course having some other big ones right there. Let's see some other angles of this same display. This here, so this is a built-in shelf. It's an actual built-in, and with that there's just a corner of Sharkticons and some Quintessons. It's a little bit cramped, but it took a while for me to kind of make this look, to me, a little bit presentable. I do want a lot of Sharkticons in there. I tried to pile up a variety from all the different eras and stuff. I couldn't quite fit a vintage one in there. That's just too big, but these Sharkticons are really cool. It was kind of fun to get them in there. I've had like 6 different variations of how I did it, but I think this is the best I've done so far. They're kind of all over each other, because in the movie they were all over each other. Now getting up here, it looks a lot cleaner. Now the problem is that I want to showcase the Sweeps and Scourge, also Cyclonus and his Armada, and with that there's different versions in there. Like there's 3 complete different versions of Cyclonus. You got the Fans Toys first one, and then you got the movie version, and then you've got the X-Transbots one, which I only got the one X-Transbots one, but and then of course we got the Galvatron up there. Depending on whether or not the X-Transbots one I like it better, it'll depend on which one goes in there. So I really don't think you need multiples of a Galvatron, but you need multiples of Sweeps and Armada. And the Fans Toys Armada, the Sweep, that one, I still have it in alt mode. I was just debating whether or not I start hanging some stuff in there, but I know that could cause some problems. I'll probably just transform it back and put it right there in that empty space that I kind of created for it. But then you get to the back and you see some other figures in there, just kind of filling out the scene. And then getting over here, now I've got too many RCs in a display. You don't need that many RCs, but I don't really want to put them away. I want to keep them in the display. Kind of like it. I'm trying to integrate some Junkions in here, although I've only got one from KFC. And I've got some of the Hasbro ones in there. They are shorter, but it kind of looks like they're just pedestaled down, and I'm trying to achieve some cheating in there. I still think that Takara has the best looking Rodimus so far out the gate, and also the best looking version of Skyfire. Alright, so now we're going to get into my combiner shelf. Now it's very cramped, very crowded. I have a few ideas to fix this, and I'm going to do the same thing I did on the shelf below it, as make this sort of circular. So as I get different combiners in and out and do swapping out, I'm going to redo it all, which it's kind of a pain to get all the way up there. I think that's like 6 foot up to 6 to 8 foot up. I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 feet. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a built-in, and it's pretty high up, and it's just a challenge even doing anything up there. But I tried to allocate in this one. Yes, it looks crowded, but I wanted some variations. As in, there's the orange version of Fans Toys Quietest. That was the KO one. And then we have the G1 toy repaints of some of those figures, and that's different variations of different figures in there. I just think that's kind of fun to go along with it instead of trying to build another display to it. So getting a little bit close up into here. I got those tiny figures in there too, and I got my extra heads because if you remember the early days of Zeta, they didn't have the greatest heads, so you had to buy upgrade heads for them. So those are my old heads down there. Just kind of fun in a way. Kind of not. All the batteries are dead in them, so it's kind of a waste. It was a waste of time putting batteries in them because batteries are all dead now, but I used some accents, and I didn't really showcase it in the first one, and I'll talk about it, but I used granite as accents, but also as steps up to elevate, and that was a big chore that I did. It took me like a week to do it before I could even start putting my display together. Then we get in here to these guys. Now, I have them elevated, and as I had it at first, it looked a lot better. You could actually see the Predaking back there, but now as I just cram more in here, it just gets where it's hard to see them. And that Abominus is just too small. I thought it'd be bigger than that, so I've got other ideas. That's kind of the problem here. I've got other ideas to showcase it a little bit better in the future as I swap these out and get different combiners in here. But yeah, it's cramped. So this is a not. This whole shelf is not a good way to display your stuff. And I'll be reworking that probably not before I do my full collection video, but as I get new combiners in. And then this showcase a little bit more of some of the variant figures that I've got in here. It's kind of fun. Then up top I got Unicron. I've got Zeta in the bot mode, and I've got the HasLab in planet mode. That's the way it works. Then there's the lemon, is it lemon tree or something? Lemon that has the Nemesis. Anyway, there it is. We've got the ship in there. The Revenge? Nemesis or Revenge? That's a Revenge. Cool stuff. Now getting into what people would probably call the Season 1, Season 2 shelf, that kind of stuff. And I think that this is a bit crowded, but as I was taking these pictures, I've been in the back of my mind thinking about a few things that I'm going to do different in here, and I will kind of talk about that. But as we get new headmasters, I'm going to elevate on the top shelf the back row way up, and then I will be able to see everything in the back a lot better. It's just something that just takes time. And the problem is you have to take everything out to do that. This was plenty of space 6 years ago, but now with all these new figures, it's not enough space, and I have to strategically extract and elevate. All right, here we go. Now, one of the things I did make sure I have plenty of space for is the aerial bots. So the last Fans Toys one, I will not be displaying my Fans Toys one in combined mode because I got it for the bot mode. So I literally didn't care about the whole holdup for combined parts because I've got the Zeta, and obviously I would not want to put Zeta in bot modes because those don't look good. It looks good in its combined mode, and even if Fans Toys look better combined, that's why people buy multiples. But anyway, got an empty slot for him to go right there, and also Soup's right in the center of everything. And as my favorite Dinobot, he is centrally located in the display. And now you can see in here, that's all granite. So I think that's 5 or 6 slabs, all shorter. Now I got it all for free. It's all broken granite, and I just worked it in to make it stack as kind of stadium theater seating kind of deal. This is showing, now I do have lighting in all of these. These are wired in and plugged in. They're not the ones with batteries you got to change. I will refuse to use those in this type of setting. And I have backgrounds in there that are actual stills that I took straight from the cartoon. So as you take a still from a cartoon and blow it up, it does get kind of fuzzy, but from a distance, the background still looks pretty good for me. Now, the Dinobots in there, I have them all the way across. I am 100% on Gigapower now, and I've gotten rid of the Fans Toys ones. Just, I didn't have space for them, and I want them all to be a uniform team. Now, getting up to that top shelf that I was already talking about. Now, this one, you get to see, that is one whole picture, top to bottom. I made sure it all fit and matched and flowed, and yes, those are staples in it because it wasn't holding up on its own. I had to staple that stupid thing on. But anyway, There we go with a variety of different figures. Yes, we got some Decepticons in on this shelf. I have some other plans for that in the future. Obviously, this shelf is too crowded already, but it was just easy for them to go there. I'm going to be pulling them out for a comparison video soon anyway, and it's much easier to grab them from there than the Decepticon display. But big part of my problem with displaying Masterpiece is that it changes every review I do, because I have to pull figures out, put figures back in, just like there is the Cosmos from X-Transbots. Now I've got 2 of them now, and I've got one in alt mode because the newer one actually looks better in bot mode because the newer one has a uniform yellow to it. So they made some improvements. Now over here, if you look way in the back, and I might have a better picture of it, but my Headmasters are hidden, my Make Toys ones are hidden in the back. They need to be elevated up about 3 inches so that they can be seen really well, and as I move things around and change things around. But I did try to stick with the smaller bots in the front and the taller bots in the back, but after I just keep cramming more in there. So this is another don't do this. Don't just cram them on a shelf. Make sure that they're all elevated and all you can see them. And they all look like they're doing some stuff. I do like the fact that if you look at this picture, you see the Fans Toys Cliff Jumper at the top, and you see Bumblebee next to him, and they look like a nice little pair. They match really well in this picture. Last, we're getting into my Decepticon shelf. Now, this is more or less Season 1 and 2, and then it's got some movie characters in there, and Season 4. So I don't adhere to any of that so much, but this is still, I feel like this is a fun shelf because the Cybertronian pictures in the background, and yes, I didn't get it exactly all the way across the top there, which it is annoying. That annoys me when I look at it, so I'll probably have to do something to fix that. But I do kind of love the way this ended up turning out, aside from that background picture not all the way in there. Now, I do have a second Ministor. I don't want to get rid of either of my Ministors, but I probably will eventually make that decision to get rid of one of them down the road, simply to display it a whole lot better. And with that, looking in the back, this is the Deformation Space Starscream, looking good next to MP36 with its KO's Toys Factory. That is, I made a video on that one as a combination of several different KOs. And then I tried to keep the center empty and then work my way out, which that wasn't truly effective. And then I've got different Seekers scattered around, Coneheads scattered around, and they'll be replaced if I like the new ones better that are coming out. There's like the KO version of, is it Thrust that's coming right now? And that's actually shipping from Show Z store right now. But let's get a deeper look at this. Now, we can see all of these in here as I continue with 2 sets, well, technically 3, but 2 sets of Constructicons. I've got to figure out how to display them all, and that is going to be a challenge. And just this one dude is so big. I just didn't realize how big the Constructicons are going to be. So I got to rework all of that as we go. But it's still kind of fun. They may get a whole different display area for themselves just as a team. And that's what I'm probably going to have to end up doing down the road. But I do have the Takara Shockwave in there. And that is, all the Coneheads are Make Toys. And I'm so glad I picked up Lupus when I did, because the KO version of Lupus got canceled. And I don't know why. I wasn't given a reason, and I actually put that funds towards buying another figure, and that's just what I did on that. It kind of sucked that the KO of Lupus got canceled. Now, that wasn't through Show Z, that was TF Direct, but it has nothing to do with TF Direct at all. It has to do with whoever was making the KO, but they informed me, yes, it was getting canceled. But anyway, fun stuff in here. Now, if you can see, I have the punch counter punch in right in the middle, and for the longest time, when I put them in there, when I look in my display, that was catching my eye, but put a couple other figures in there that are kind of distracting from it now. And then kind of seeing this here, I do have multiple Motor Masters in there. I might transform the X-Transbots one and put it in the bot. Or do I have that in? No, I think I have the X-Transbots one in there. Never mind. I think I have that one in there. So one of those Fans Toys, one of those is DX9. That's, I think, how I did it. Anyway, then you see some other figures in there, like, I got a swindle for the MMC set, and that's how I can kind of talk about MMC and what they do, because I have one and it looks good. So a lot of cool looking stuff, a lot of fun with the display, but it's a bit crowded, and I will be having to make some tough choices going forward. But anyway, that's pretty much my collection display for all the good and the bad. Hopefully you learned a few things good And you're going to learn a lot of bad because I have just crammed too much in here. It has become a problem when it comes to display. And I love getting into the figure, but if you get a figure and you just shove it in a display, it doesn't enhance your display, you got to step back and rethink it. That's what I'm going to do. Let me know what you think about this, and is it helpful for your collection? I look forward to looking at more collections when we hit the 21,000 subscriber special, and I'll try to work a link down below. That link's for the 21,000 subscriber special is on Facebook's page at Tydirium Hanger Toys. But let me know what you think. Comment, so like, subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out.